I'm telling you, if there were any leftovers we could give you, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I hate having to ask for charity. As if letting you land on this world wasn't charity enough. Humph. You know humans are in your debt. You know we're good for it in 3 days' time. That's not that long, in the big picture, and it's nothing worth tearing up a deal that's worked for decades. Decades without anything going awry. We can come to an understanding here. I know you can give us some leniency, one exception. Oh, for fuck's sake, one exception. I want double our usual cut from you squatters in 3 days' time. You better have it. Cherise's hands tightened around her gun. Double? That's rid. That's a deal, Gress. Thank you for your kindness and understanding, I spoke through gritted teeth. You won't regret your faith in us. I hope you have a safe voyage back home, and we look forward to delivering the goods in 3 days' time. In other words, you want to chase me off. Don't worry, I'd rather be anywhere else than this desolate world, overrun by humans. The Krev stalked back to his ship, keeping one side-facing eye trained on us. Send the word back to your people. We are going to talk about setting an end date to your stay here. I don't care if it's years from now, but you're not staying here forever. I understand, and we can discuss that once we're back on normal footing. The Krev wandered back into his vessel, and with the engine still warm, he rocketed up from the landing pad as soon as he reached the cockpit. I watched the alien ship rise into the clouds, grateful that I'd managed to get him to agree to anything at all. Gress hadn't given me the impression that they were willing to cut us any slack. When the interloper vanished up into the atmosphere, I finally allowed my emotions to shine through. I was all smiles, figuratively speaking, to his face, but I wanted to knock that rude prick's lights out. I kicked the sand with my boot, as soon as I was certain he couldn't see. Assholes, no good, fuck-faced. Settle down, Taylor. You're just getting yourself worked up, Cherise admonished me. You calm? Yes. Good, because now it's my turn to get pissed off. What the fuck were you thinking? Cranking the first shipment out would have been enough. You're going to have to push the machinery to the absolute limits. Pull double shifts to bring 2 times the standard amount. I don't even know if we can do it. We'll work the main drill overtime and blast as many damn rocks as humanly possible. I'm not giving those cold fucks any chance to kick us out. All the Krev need is one perceived slight, and I think they're throwing us out. I can sense it. You can sense it? That's the second time you've said that. I know we've all been trapped underground too fucking long, but I think you're losing your mind. I placed my hands on my hips. Cherise, I'm not taking any chances. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's reading people, and Gress is all but done with us. Tellus is our home now, and we need to find some way to keep our foot in the door. You want humans to break our backs to benefit those lazy fuckers, just to keep them from uprooting our lives? What happens if we can't deliver? We'll deliver. Look, I'm not in horrid shape myself. I'm going to go in and supervise, be ready to jump in as an extra set of hands if needed. Maybe you could send any able-bodied security folks down there as well. We can do this as a team. Nobody is taking our home. I'm not leaving another planet. It'll be over my dead body. The security guard's body language looked exhausted. Fine, Taylor. You win. Just good luck selling this plan to the miners and to Mayor Hathaway. Nothing a few fabrications can't fix. Mayor can tell him it's for urgent fixes to the military, since we want to be ready to scrap with the Krev. Any luck, and the miners will never know where we really sent the ore. Lying? For them? For us. I'm doing my job and buying us time. If anyone else has a better idea, or if the mayor wants to question my judgment, that's his prerogative. I will do whatever it takes to keep us together. We're the last of humanity left around, and I don't want to do anything that squander that chance. Too many good people died back home. Isn't that the truth? It still blows my mind that they killed all of those people, Cherise murmured. I'll help you and keep my mouth shut, Taylor, but don't think I support this. You better be right. I will be. Now let's get to the mines and put everyone to work. There's no time to waste. Come on. I hustled back toward the elevator, suppressing my own groan of displeasure at the thought of heading down to the mines. Even with machinery to carry some of the load, it was still a gritty, exhausting job. I was probably going to be a bit short on shut-eye with the shifts we'd need to pull for these quantities of materials. Once we got the crev off of our backs for this cycle, we could focus on making it to the next payment with a more reasonable time frame to complete our work. I wasn't sure how I was going to keep the peace between humanity and the consortium, but it would take a great deal of commitment to make this arrangement last much longer at all. The Nature of Predators, 224. Memory transcription subject, Taylor Trench, human colonist. Date standardized human time, March 14, 2160. With the minimal amount of sleep necessary, I found myself back on the metro train to the mines, holopad curled in my grasp. Dusty stone walls passed by through the windows, as several weary faces joined me on the daily transport. I kept to myself in the back corner, finding myself listening through earbuds to Noah Williams' speech on the ride over. It always brought me unspeakable sadness to hear the astronaut pleading for our lives and trying to convince those monsters we could be their friends. I wasn't sure why I was putting myself through this, except to remind myself that the crev weren't that bad. I stared at my empty coffee cup, grateful that someone had the presence of mind to bring along our favorite caffeinated beans. It would be a lot more difficult to get up for an early morning on 3 hours of sleep without it. If I wanted the miners not to see me, and by extension, Mayor Hathaway, as crev mouthpieces, it was important that I pitched in for the grueling work. The mayor hadn't seemed pleased when I mentioned that Gress had demanded double the standard due, though he agreed on not telling the miners the reason for the double shifting. They might find out sooner or later, but we'd cross that bridge when we got to it. We couldn't afford another strike right now. As it is, we're behind the pace of what's needed to meet the quantity demands. When the mayor calls me to check in, as if on cue, my earbuds delivered a light chime. I tapped the accept button and glanced at my holopad, wondering what Brandon Hathaway would have to say about our progress so far. We still had 2 more days to supply what the crev demanded, but I doubted Gress would be giving us any extensions. Would the mayor have ideas for stalling the aliens or bringing in more workers? Drawing any more personnel to the mines would look suspicious, with the security personnel already getting the stink eye. Hathaway blinked sleep out of his eyes, massaging the puffy bags on his coffee-colored skin. Morning, Taylor. Any update on our progress? I worked with them all night, supervising and moving shipments, helping out as much as I could, I answered. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We're not getting it done quick enough to meet our deadline at the current pace. We're already pushing the main drill to its maximum safe capacity. Our engineers advised me that they can't, in good conscience, funnel any more power to it. I see. I always knew we were going to butt heads with the crev. I might give you shit about giving them so much as an inch more than we have